What's up guys, we made it to Yokohama City here in Japan. It's just half an hour train ride from Tokyo over here, and the whole theme of this city kind of is harbor and water. So we're gonna see what the city has to offer. We're gonna visit the biggest Chinatown outside of China, eat some food and just get the entire vibe in here. Let's go.
Welcome to Yokohama, a vibrant city where tradition meets innovation. From stunning waterfront views to the colorful streets of Chinatown, Yokohama is a feast for the senses, a perfect place for food and travel. Come with us to explore its iconic sites, immerse yourself in rich culture and savor mouth-watering street food that will have you coming back for more. Japan's second biggest city is an easy day trip from Tokyo, and its Chinatown is one of the world's largest. So naturally, we had to start looking for some tasty treats right there.
We made it. This is the entrance to Chinatown in Yokohama, biggest Chinatown outside of China, and we're about to walk into that gate there.
Let's see what we can eat. I want to eat something.
And first stop, Chinese braised pork steamed buns.
We just stopped at the first stall because we saw these Bowser pork buns. It looked really good on the picture. However, this one looks a little gray and a little flat. There's also 500 yen, so I think
Open it up.
for Japanese standards, this is pretty expensive, but it's this chunk of real pork.
So a normal baozi is full and stuffed, but this is more of like, you've got the bao outside.
Like a Bowser sandwich.
Yeah.
Tastes a little better than I expected because it has this outside fat layer, but I think it's kind of like nicely slow cooked, right? So
Yeah.
It's fairly soft and it's a very melty, fatty experience in your mouth. Pork pieces are a little smaller than you thought, and then in the back there's a little bit of fat.
Baozis, like the ones with mincemeat and filled, are one of my favorite street food snacks from China. Phil was adamant about getting this one and not the traditional pork mincemeat one, so let's go.
Because look, I'll show you the picture in a second.
Almost dropped that right there. It's like the fatty piece is just hanging out there. This is very fatty, but
That's what it looks like, and the picture looked like that, so I thought.
I love these buns though.
Off to a rough start, but every couple meters there is something else looking delicious, so we had to make it right with a bit of a sweeter treat.
Can we have the 2 egg tarts?
Making up for that Bowser that was a little mediocre, we'll get some egg tarts, and it's really hard to go wrong with egg tarts, right?
I love them. So I think these have like Portuguese influence in Hong Kong during the whole trade, but there's an Asian variation that's less custardy, more eggy, and I love this one. 520 for the 2 of these.
Yeah, Chinatown seems to be a little above the average Japanese snack level.
This flaky pastry puff, and then this awesome inside creamy, eggy custard.
That's really good. These are things that I always saw and I didn't thought like, what's the point? But since I met you, this is one of the things I'm like, they're awesome everywhere.
These are one of my favorite things to get at a Chinese bakery. I love them. They also had a coconut variation. We asked if we could do 1-1. They don't do that, even though they're the same price.
In Japan, it's so normal to sit down somewhere and stare at a wall. Like we put the camera down, but check this seating arrangement out. It's just basically this wall where you can sit against and eat your stuff quickly.
That's the way to do it here.
This Chinatown has the typical abundance of decoration and signs, mostly in red and golden colors, and it looks amazing. For some culture, there's a temple to visit and plenty of side streets to discover. But most of the shops here are for food, and it would be impossible to try them all. We will go and explore the real Yokohama soon, and at the end of this video we will have one of the unexpectedly best experiences of this Japan trip. But before we head out, we had to try what Chinese cuisine does best, these amazing looking steamed dumplings.
Okay, we just came across this Chinese dumpling place right across the street, and there was a big line, so we thought, that might be good. And we laid eye on these, and these look absolutely massive, like round, massive dumplings.
One of these is seafood, the other one is pork, and we've gotten 4 for 750.
Yeah, and ever since we left Washington, D.C., where I had the best Chinese dumplings in my life, I'm looking for the same style. And these are heavy, so my hopes are a little up. However, look at this. They seem very deep fried. This one has quite the char on the bottom.
Well, they're half fried, half steamed cooking.
Okay.
So it's on a big pan, it's there, so the bottom gets a little bit crispy, but then there's water and steaming, so it simmers a
And
bit.
check it how, it's almost like a water bed, but let me start with this one. This one's pork, right?
Yeah, that one's pork, look at that.
It's good, man. Definitely the minced pork in there, very saucy on the inside. This is my style of dumpling. They're heavy, they're awesome, and let me try this green one.
Well, okay, I guess I'm not trying anyone. That's seafood, minced seafood.
Consistency is the same, tastes good as well. Oh.
So they're pretty fresh. They're making them, they're selling them out pretty quick. That's a whole group of people eating after ordering.
It's like soup explosion in your mouth, so hot. This is my style, I love it.
So I think these are xiaolongbao style. They have those there as well, the traditional ones. But I think what we've learned is Phil likes not the jiaozi style of dumpling. He likes a little bit of a thicker dough, but not quite like a baozi dough. Let's give it a try.
Wow, the chopstick flip there, professional. Whoa, and you hold it.
Xiaolongbao style has a soup inside, and as you could tell when Phil was eating, a lot squirts out of it.
Wow, your technique is immaculate.
And that is why they're probably one-biters.
That was pretty awesome. Definitely a redeeming little dish compared to the first one. So I have to say, so far, this is a very nice Chinatown. I really like that it's a pedestrian zone, and apparently, as you can see, there's a lot of people walking. However, it's not super crowded yet, and compared to like the Chinatown in Bangkok, which is also super awesome, that's a driving street, so it's a little harder to go through. But this is literally built for that.
So you notice there's a lot of street food stands. You can grab your food, but it's still Japanese style where there's not a lot of eating and walking. Most people stand and eat their food next to the stall that they bought it from. So after Japan opened up to the other parts of the world, a lot of Chinese immigrants and traders came over here, but they were confined to this area, and that's kind of how these Chinatowns were filled. And I don't know, I feel like there's a big distinction right here, but maybe this is just a vibe of modern day that's like, feels like normal Japan and then Chinatown. And nowadays it's probably all blend in together, but at that time it was like restricted to certain areas, anyone who was of Chinese descent or background.
So this being the biggest Chinatown is really interesting, and spoiler alert, we'll go into China next. So I've seen the biggest Chinatown outside of China, but we're going to Shanghai, one of my absolute bucket list cities. If you want to see that, maybe stick around, consider subscribing, because a couple of weeks, very soon, I'm gonna be in China, new country, new city. I'm so excited.
Aside from the largest Chinatown, Yokohama is known as a modern harbor city with plenty of businesses in high-rise buildings and an amazing waterfront. So the first impression of Yokohama coming out of the Yokohama main train station is it feels very business work life. Where the big buildings are with the companies, and it feels very official and not so like come here and enjoy the city, but you're more in the like common work area.
Yeah, except for Anpanman Children's Museum.
So that's the Anpanman Children's Museum, which is quite popular in Yokohama. And I was a little confused who Anpanman is, but I found just out that it is actually related to One Punch Man. Anpanman came first, it's a children's comic, and they made One Punch Man like based on that. So we just came from that direction there. Look at all the businesses. This is definitely like the business district here, Yokohama, but naturally because it's one of the major port cities in Japan. And on this side, you see the water. So this is Rinko Park we just came down to.
It's one of the biggest ports in Japan.
It's nice to see that they built these parks on the waterfronts for people just to chill, and a lot of people just utilize these parks for just relaxing a little bit.
Do a 5K run. Let's go. 0 and then go. I did it.
Oh, I made it. This waterfront is fully built out with a boardwalk that stretches for miles, and along the way there are some of the city's popular sites.
Wow, that's Yokohama summarized right there. Amusement park with the Ferris wheel and then the landmark tower.
And the Noodle Museum.
Cup Noodle Museum. It's right there behind the trees. So here right in front of the Cup Noodle Museum, they have these barbecue stations, which are like good for, I don't know, maybe 10 people. And you have your own barbecue grill there. And it's right at the waterfront. And it looks like you can rent them. So I like these little ideas that they implement here to make things nicer. Pretty cool.
More outdoorsy. Outdoorsy.
Yes.
Continuing along the boardwalk, there is quite a bit to discover, like this modern marine and walk plaza with some quaint shops. Also some nice green parks, but one of the highlights is the so-called Red Brick Warehouse, which is now a shopping center in an old harbor warehouse, and it looks very cool.
Alright, so this is the Red Brick Warehouse, which looks like an iconic warehouse near a marina, right? I don't know, I think of Hamburg, I think of London. I just think of this red brick screams harbor to me. It's a historic landmark, and at some points it was often used for like wet markets and like trade, export, imports, but now it is the home of course, coffee shops and hipster places, so we might have to get a coffee.
I want to consume my coffee where history was written.
All right, supporting the local business with coffee. I ordered an Americano and I asked if they had oat milk. They do have oat milk. I asked if I could put it just a little bit on my drink, and she was like, no, you can't with an Americano. I was like, I'll pay extra. No. So apparently you can only use oat milk if you get a cappuccino or a latte, but I don't want that much milk, so. It
seems to be a thing in Japan that altering your order is a very complicated thing. They just stick to what it is. Americano comes with no milk.
We walked through, it's a lot of shops, a lot of like fragrance things, a lot of, not really perfume, but like soaps and stuff. But then what I noticed, a lot of these stores have these gift boxes of local like Japanese snacks or candy or something, because in Japan, and a lot of other countries, but mostly Japan, there is a culture of giving a gift. If you've gone anywhere, you bring a gift back for your coworkers or your family or your friends. And Phil and I are playing this game whenever we see a stroller. Is it a baby or a dog? And I think here, 80% of it is a dog.
It's awesome.
Or two dogs, or several dogs. They're so cute.
You might also notice the amount of dogs here. There was some kind of dog show or meetup going on. Japanese dogs seem fairly well behaved, and it added definitely to the flair of the area.
When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's all it is. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing Vita Bella.
If anybody can let us know what that speaker just said to us, that would be awesome. But this is the most Japanese thing, these little speakers everywhere. And there's always some public announcement, and I don't know what they're saying. And we made it down a little further to the south. This here is Yamashita Park. You can just walk for miles here along the waterfront, which is pretty cool. And right around in front of me, there's this old boat here, the NYK Hikawa Maru. And that is an old ocean liner, I think from the 1930s. It survived World War II, so they made it into a maritime museum right now. It looks pretty cool.
If you like walking, this waterfront area is definitely a must-do when visiting Yokohama. And if you got hungry, you should try some ramen. Yokohama is actually the birthplace of some specific ramen type, and we had to try it. This is sanmamen, a type of ramen that originated here in 1947. It is soy sauce based with vegetables and of pretty thick consistency, which I love.
This one has a very glibbery texture, right? And it feels like it's holding the heat better. I like that it's slimier. These nice little black gooey mushrooms.
Our second dish was Tantan Men, a noodle dish that originated in the Sichuan province in China in 1841. It is a spicier ramen version with some minced pork inside and equally as good.
It's very flavorful. I think minced meat, minced pork, fatty pork always helps with the flavor so much. It's a huge portion for so cheap, man. That's crazy.
The portions here were huge and super satisfying. And again, this was a very intimate dining experience in Japan, as the seating is tight and people are really quiet.
So good. Also, portion size is huge.
Yeah, the place has a huge line and we know why. It's super affordable and big portion sizes and really good food. So no wonder they're lining up there around the corner.
Yeah.
And all the other places around here are fairly empty in comparison.
Yeah.
I think the summer men is really good. Like you taste the soy sauce is a little more glibbery than the typical ramen.
Also a little more vegetable heavy.
Yeah, and I like that. But then also the tantan men, I just love the spice level and the fatty pork chunks in there. Gives it a lot of flavor. This place is definitely a secret tip. I don't know how secret it is, but it's a small place in a huge mall and really good.
Yeah.
We also briefly explored the area of Motomachi, Yokohama's modern shopping district with some boutique stores, elegant vibes and the typical modern Japanese city aesthetic.
First things I see is Godiva Chocolatier. It's Belgian chocolate. They have that here, which is interesting. And it seems like it's actually almost like a more European looking shopping arcade here. Interesting.
That's a German building if I've ever seen one.
Every now and then you get reminded by how massive the cities are here. Let alone these highway undergrounds, they feel just epic going through
Two
here.
highways, a train track on top of us right now.
River below.
Bridges for pedestrians and cars.
Nice.
Wow.
In the afternoon, we made our way back towards the city center, and this area with its waterways, the Ferris wheel, the towers and cherry blossoms has to be the most city-defining one in Yokohama. There even is a badass sailing boat named Nippon Maru right next to the landmark tower. Speaking of, we spontaneously decided to go up the famous tower, and boy, was that a good decision.
So fun fact, when this was finished in 1993, this was the fastest elevator in the world.
There's not a lot of people, way less crowded than the Skytree.
Just look at these views. The harbor at your feet and surrounded by the world's largest metropolitan area with no obstructed view and barely visitors up here, this was our favorite viewing platform of this trip. Even better than the Tokyo Skytree or Osaka's Umeda Sky Building. On a clearer day, you can even see Mount Fuji from here.
I think this is already more enjoyable than the Skytree. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Skytree view is super impressive.
But just the less people.
It's just so nice, man.
I can't believe how little people there are here.
Yeah, and you're so close to the window, whereas the Skytree, it's further away.
Yeah, that's true.
No
The flat, no reflections. And you can see the Skytree from here. It's right there. It's covered in clouds. It's this little tower. It's actually the tallest tower in the world, right?
Yeah.
Interactive map situation.
We got a glass of Katlenburger wine, product of Germany, sat down right at the window and enjoyed the sunset in an almost resort-like way. Highly recommended.
And that was our day in Yokohama. Pretty different vibe than Tokyo. Definitely worth a day trip to get all the harbor stuff in and that viewing platform highly recommended.
Yeah, definitely more we could have done here. There's a lot more like temples and stuff further south, but that's all we had today. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'm drunk, I can't even
Hey, would you look at that? YouTube thinks this video is perfect for you, so maybe watch it next. Just click it. Click it now. And look at all these Patreons. Thank you.